The Clever Tailor and the Three Beasts. Once upon a time, in the lively town of Galway, there lived a clever little tailor. He spent his days sewing clothes, stitching, and snipping with his needle. One day, while working, he noticed a tiny flea jumping around on the clothes. Without missing a beat, the tailor threw his needle at the flea and snap, killed it in one shot. Feeling proud of himself, he said,
I must be a great hero if I can kill a flea with just a needle.
The tailor, filled with confidence, decided he needed a bigger challenge. He heard that in Dublin, the king was struggling to build his court. Every day, builders worked hard to raise the walls, but every night something would knock them down. No one could figure out what was happening. So the tailor packed his tools, his trusty spade and shovel, and set off for Dublin, determined to solve the mystery. As the tailor walked along the road, he met an old white horse munching on grass.
Hello there.
The horse neighed.
Where are you off to? I'm going to Dublin to help the king build this court.
The tailor replied, puffing out his chest. The horse sighed.
I'm so tired from all the work people make me do. Could you dig me a hole where I can hide when they come looking for me?
The kind-hearted tailor agreed. He dug a deep hole and asked the horse to step inside to see if it fit. But once the horse was in, he couldn't get out. The horse pleaded.
Please help me out when I'm hungry.
The tailor chuckled and said,
Stay there until I come back.
And he continued on his way. A bit further down the road, the tailor met a sneaky fox.
Hello traveler,
Said the fox.
where are you going? I'm on my way to Dublin to build the king's court.
The tailor replied. The fox, looking sad, said,
The other foxes won't let me eat with them. Could you build me a hiding place where I'll be safe?
The tailor, always ready to help, agreed. He gathered branches and made a cozy little cradle for the fox. But as soon as the fox went inside, the tailor sealed it shut.
Let me out!
Cried the fox.
Not until I return.
The tailor answered with a grin, leaving the fox behind as he continued his journey. Soon the tailor met a mighty lion lounging in the sun.
Where are you going, brave little tailor?
The lion asked with a roar.
I'm off to Dublin to build the king's court and win a princess.
The tailor boasted. The lion, thinking of a way to help, said,
Could you build me a plough? My lion friends and I could use it to gather food during the harvest.
The tailor agreed once more. He used his tools to craft a plough, but when the lion tried it on, the tailor cleverly trapped the lion's tail inside.
Let me out!
Roared the lion.
Not until I return.
The tailor said, leaving the lion behind as he marched on to Dublin. When the tailor finally arrived in Dublin, he found the king's court half built, with frustrated workers everywhere. The tailor gathered the workers and said,
Let's finish this court together. I will pay you well.
The workers agreed, and soon the court began to rise again. But when night fell, the tailor told the workers to place a huge stone on top of the wall. After they left, the tailor hid behind the stone, waiting to see what would happen. As the moon rose, 3 giants appeared, ready to knock down the walls. But the tailor was ready. Just as they reached his hiding spot, he pushed the stone down.
Crash!
The stone fell on one of the giants, and the others ran away in fear. The next day, the workers returned and built even higher walls. That night, only 2 giants came back. But the clever tailor once again waited until the right moment and
Crash!
he dropped the stone, defeating another giant. The last giant was so scared he never returned. With the court finally finished, the tailor went to the king.
I have done what no one else could do. Now I deserve the princess hand in marriage just as you promised.
But the king, wanting to test the tailor further, said,
Not so fast. There is still one giant left. Defeat him, and only then you will marry my daughter.
The tailor, as brave as ever, accepted the challenge. He found the last giant and offered to be his servant.
I can do anything you can do.
He said. The giant agreed and invited the tailor to eat with him. After dinner, the giant challenged the tailor.
Can you drink as much boiling broth as I can? Of course.
Said the tailor, but he secretly prepared a trick. He saved a bag from a sheepskin and hid it under his coat. When the giant began to drink the boiling broth, the tailor pretended to do the same, but he was really pouring the hot liquid into the bag. When the giant had drunk his fill, the tailor said,
Now I will do something you can't. Watch this.
and with that, the tailor stabbed the bag, letting all the broth pour out.
Ha!
Said the giant.
That's easy.
But when the giant stabbed himself in the stomach, thinking he could do the same, he hurt himself badly, and that was the end of the last giant. Victorious, the tailor returned to the king and said,
I have done everything you asked. Now give me the princess and the treasure, or I will tear down the court myself.
Fearing the tailor's cleverness, the king gave him the princess and a chest full of gold. The tailor and his new bride left for Galway, but the king soon regretted his decision and sent his soldiers to chase after them. As the soldiers ran down the road, they came across the trapped lion.
I saw the tailor pass by,
The lion said.
and if you free me, I can catch him for you.
So the soldiers freed the lion and they all continued on. Next, they found the fox.
The tailor and his wife passed here.
Said the fox.
Free me, and I will catch them for you.
So the soldiers freed the fox and the chase continued. Finally, they came to the old white horse.
The tailor was here.
The horse said.
Free me, and I will catch him for you.
So they freed the horse and all together they chased after the tailor. When the tailor saw them coming, he quickly sat down on the ground with his wife. The old white horse, seeing the tailor sitting there, remembered how the tailor had tricked him.
I am not going near him.
The horse thought and he turned back. The fox and the lion, remembering how the tailor had outsmarted them too, decided to turn back as well. In the end, the soldiers gave up and returned to Dublin empty-handed. The clever tailor and his wife returned to Galway, where they lived happily ever after. And from that day on, everyone knew that Tailor wasn't just a great hero, he was the cleverest one of all.
The moral of the story is that being clever and thinking smart can help you solve big problems. It also shows that being kind and helpful is important, but tricking others can come back to you. Always be fair and honest.